In the forests of northeastern China, there is a place that does not appear on most maps of World War II. It was not a battlefield. It was not a prison camp. It was a research facility built by the Imperial Japanese Army, staffed by trained scientists and physicians, and hidden from the world for decades after the war ended. What happened inside its walls was known to very few people during the war. After it, those who did know were largely protected from prosecution by a secret agreement with the United States government. The full truth did not emerge until survivors on both sides were old enough to no longer fear the consequences of speaking. This is Unit 731, and it remains one of the most disturbing chapters in modern history, not just because of what happened there, but because of who was allowed to walk away. Unit 731 was a covert biological and chemical warfare research program operated by the Imperial Japanese Army. Between 1937 and 1945, it was based in Pingfang, in the Manchuria region of northeastern China, a sprawling complex of more than 150 buildings, housing thousands of personnel at its peak. Its official name was the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department of the Kwantung Army. The name was deliberately misleading. The facility's actual purpose was research into biological weapons and the development of methods to deploy them against enemy populations. The program was directed by Lieutenant General Shi Ishii, a physician, a decorated military officer, and a man whose name has become synonymous with one of the most severe violations of medical ethics in history. Ishii believed that biological warfare was the future of modern conflict. He also believed that the only way to develop effective biological weapons was through direct human experimentation. And so, that is what Unit 731 did. The prisoners used in these experiments were primarily Chinese, Korean, and Russian civilians and prisoners of war. They were referred to internally by a term that translates roughly as logs, a deliberate dehumanization that allowed the researchers to continue their work. Estimates of the total number of people who died at Unit 731 and its affiliated facilities range from 3,000 to more than 200,000. The precise figure will likely never be known because before surrendering in 1945, the Japanese military destroyed most of the records. The research conducted at Unit 731 covered a wide range of biological and medical areas, all framed as scientific inquiry, all conducted without consent, and all resulting in suffering on a scale that is difficult to comprehend. Researchers studied the effects of plague, cholera, typhoid, and other infectious diseases, exposing prisoners to pathogens to observe how the diseases progressed and how quickly they spread. This research directly informed Japan's biological weapons program, which deployed disease agents against Chinese civilian populations during the war. Unit 731 also conducted research into the limits of human survival, exposing prisoners to extreme cold, extreme pressure, and other conditions in order to gather data that might have military applications. Surgeons at the facility performed operations on living prisoners, procedures conducted without anesthesia, justified on the grounds that anesthesia might contaminate the research results. All of this was documented. All of it was filed. And when the war ended, much of that documentation became extraordinarily valuable to a government that had just entered the Cold War and needed biological weapons data of its own. When the war ended in August 1945, the United States Army began investigating Unit 731. What they found alarmed them, not just because of its scale, but because of what the research represented. Decades of human experimentation had produced data on biological agents that the US military did not have and could not ethically replicate. The Cold War was beginning. The Soviet Union was a new adversary, and the men who ran Unit 731 were offering to share everything in exchange for immunity from prosecution. The United States accepted. General Douglas MacArthur, then overseeing the occupation of Japan, approved an agreement that granted immunity from war crimes prosecution to Shiro Ishii and the key members of Unit 731 in exchange for their research data. The agreement was kept secret for decades. While Nazi doctors were prosecuted at the Nuremberg trials and hanged for crimes that bore similarities to what happened at Unit 731, the men responsible for Unit 731 returned to civilian life. Many became respected physicians, academics, and businessmen in post-war Japan. Shiro Ishii died of throat cancer in 1959. He was never charged with a war crime. He was never imprisoned. He was never publicly held accountable for what happened at the facility he built and commanded. The Japanese government did not officially acknowledge the existence of Unit 731 until 1997, more than 50 years after the war ended. The story of Unit 731 raises questions that history has never fully answered and perhaps never will. How does a government decide that certain knowledge is worth purchasing with immunity? How do trained physicians, people who took oaths to do no harm, become the architects of systematic human suffering? And how does an event of this scale remain largely unknown to the general public for so long? Part of the answer is that Unit 731 was inconvenient. It complicated the post-war narrative. It implicated not just Japan, but the United States in a transaction that traded justice for intelligence. Acknowledging it fully meant acknowledging that the line between the victors and the defeated was not always as clean as history books suggested. The survivors, the few who lived, carried what happened to them for the rest of their lives. Many never spoke publicly. The ones who did were often not believed. The facility at Pingfang still exists. Parts of it have been preserved as a museum and memorial. Visitors can walk through the buildings where these events occurred. The names of most of those who died there are not known. They were never recorded as individuals, only as numbers in files that were mostly burned before anyone could read them. Some histories are buried not because they are lost, but because the people with the power to tell them chose not to. This is one of them: law and shadow. The law runs deep.